Good morning, friends, wherever you are. Welcome to today's Cichlids and Coffee live stream. Hope that wherever you are, you're having a cup of your favorite beverage and maybe in one of these cups. This, of course, is my Cichlids and Coffee Oscar cup, but there are lots of different fish featured on mugs at my Teespring store that are available to you. So, hey, Paul. Looks like Paul Newman was first on the chat today. Adam is in the house. Hey, Adam. And Angelo is here. Hey, Denny. Good to see you. One of my moderators. Big shout out to my wonderful moderators. And we just added Whip to the group of moderators. Hey, Kim. Kimberly's here. Good to see you. This is Adam's better half. Angelo in the house. Ex-Kali Kev. Hello, Ex-Kali. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Hey, Josh. Good morning to you, my friend. We'll be talking a little bit about you today. All good. Midi Mac in the house and a Desert Fish. Good morning to you as well. Michael's in the house. Tracy. Hey, Tracy. Tracy Ballard. Art Baglio's here. Wet Sleeves Aquatics. What a great name. Greetings to you as well. Z-Zip. Kent AJDK. Hello to you, my friend. Brian Hahn's in the house. Hey, Brian. Good to see you, buddy. Hey, GP. Hey, John. Yep, long time no see. I'm glad you're here, my friend. All right. Cat Sailor in the house. Great group. AV is good. Thank you. I was going to be asking about that. The AV sounds good. Looks good. All right. So, yes, I hope it helps. We have, is that HER 209? Just bought 2 fish. Yeah, hope this helps. Anthony Pride is also in the house. Hey, Anthony. So, welcome, everybody. Today we've got a topic that, of course, came to the forefront by my recent edition of Fish. And a big shout out to Josh. And while I'm on the topic, I'll go ahead and let's see here. Let me go ahead and show you what Josh has done for us. We have a discount code that you can use at Cunningham Tropicals. 15% off on all your fish and 10% off on dry goods. So take advantage of that. I'm not sure if that's going to be forever, but there it is now. You can still use it. Talking about dry goods, I will be giving away some fish food today. I have some premium fry starter. Premium fry starter, if you can see that in the glare, from Cunningham. I also have some high intensity. You're going to have to wear sunglasses to look at your fish. These are some color pellets, high intensity color pellets, and some premium earthworm pellets. For those of you who have fish who like earthworms. So I think I'll be asking a trivia question, a movie-related trivia question later in today's live stream. And whoever gets it right first, just go ahead and let me know, moderators. Moderators, of course, can't play, especially Whip, who seems to know every quote from every movie. But moderators are not are excluded, but everybody else can play. So whoever gets it first will get their choice of some food. Some of you have been asking about this hat that has shown up in some of my videos. This hat here. This is a prototype. I don't like the way the lettering came out, so I decided not to offer it at the page, at the Teespring page. I will continue to work and get a good hat for you folks that want one, but for right now there is no hat. And but there's a lot of other stuff there. There's, I'll show you. You've got mugs and T-shirts and all kinds of other stuff, hoodies and what have you, over at the Teespring store. And if you want to visit that shop, just use this. It's below every one of my videos. There's a link to the Teespring. And I hope to get a hat at some point. Right now, I don't have one. I haven't been happy with the quality. I may have to go outside of Teespring to get a hat that meets the standards. Now, I gave a big shout out to my moderators. They help to keep the stream family friendly. Also, I'd like to give a big shout out to those of you who support the channel by being a Patreon supporter. As I like to say, it helps out in more ways than you know. So those of you who are Patreons, and some of you on there have some little stars by your name for being super Patreon supporters, but it starts for as little as $3 a month, and it really helps me to keep going with some of the stuff that that isn't outright sponsored. Now, I do have some sponsors. Of course, Cichlid, I always want to call him Cunningham Cichlids, but it's Cunningham Tropicals is a sponsor. I also get a lot of help from Aquarium Co-op, and I think they also deserve a shout out because they do help me out a lot. They just sent me a box of goodies. It's a box from Aquarium Co-op, and we have in here some freeze-dried Tube Effects cubes. My fish love these. I stick them to the glass, and believe it or not, the cories go crazy on them. And also, he has a freeze-dried product called a shrimp freeze-dried. Here it is, freeze-dried brine shrimp. And this one also drives the fish crazy. In particular, the Red Terror loves his cubes. I also have in here some of these catappa leaves. I drop these in the tanks with the smaller fish. Just kind of creates a little bit more of a natural environment. It seems like the snails and the fish nip on it too. I also have some of their cut to fit filters. You just cut these and use them. You can use them over and over again a few times until they wear out, and then just toss them. But they're good. They also have I believe, an ammonia filter and a phosphate pad. They have several kinds of pads. They have a carbon pad, but this one's just your basic cleaning, just your basic filter pad. So I use the cartridges in those Marineland, and I'll just, cut it to the cartridge size, and then just use it maybe 3 or 4 months, and then toss it, and then put a clean piece in there. Now, am I throwing away a lot of beneficial bacteria when I do that? Well, possibly, sure. But as you know, in my aquariums, I rely a lot on a deep substrate as the primary home for beneficial bacteria. So I'm not too worried about that. Now, another thing we're going to do today is we're going to go ahead and look at the tanks in live time. One of you suggested during a stream that we should show the tanks as opposed to maybe a lap video that I release. I'll still do lap videos because they're fun, but I'll also show you during the stream what's going on with the tanks. And so I'll just get up, turn the camera around. I have the camera on a very light tripod. Usually I use a big, heavy, sturdy tripod. Today I'm using a light, almost like a travel tripod. So that'll be easier for me to move around and show you what's going on, in particular with some of the newer fish. You can see what's going on there. So a few things in store. Let me see if I missed anything. Well, let's go ahead and make it official. Let's go ahead and start the live stream. So I do have a video for you. I prepared a video that you'll be able to watch during the stream if you care to. And it's the nice thing about watching it during the live stream, just like watching the live stream, is that it's completely commercial free. When the live stream uploads to YouTube, after it's done, it automatically uploads to YouTube as a video that's available to the public. It could take as much as a day before it does that. I don't know why, but But when it does, it usually has a lot of commercial breaks automatically inserted by YouTube. So the nice thing about being here is that you're not going to be interrupted by any commercials. We're going to go straight through, and then commercials will be available in the replay. So let's see where we should start here. Let's talk about today's topic. And as you know, I just got some fish. They're all doing great, by the way. And Josh, if you're on the stream, you've sent me fish, I think, twice now. And they've been very, very hardy. And if you remember, I released a video called Miracle Fish. And it was about the blue Congo tetras. The blue Congos, when they first arrived, some of them were straight up and down in the bag. Some of them were upside down. So it was a little scary. I didn't think a couple of them would make it. Well, fast forward to the next morning, and they're all good. So, and they're still all good today. So, for a fish to come back from something like that means that was a very resilient, a very robust fish. So, at any rate, that impressed me quite a bit about what was going on. I think those fish were sent during a time where we had some big temperature fluctuations, and so they might have been exposed to maybe a little bit of stress temperature-wise. But boy, once they settled out, I mean, I'm looking at them right now. They're just unbelievable. They're just beautiful. So anyway, there's your plug for Cunningham Tropicals. Be sure to use that ben.o. Be sure to use that ben.o. Discount, and you can get that food at 10% off and 15% off on fish. Use those discount codes if you're going to go there. Why not? If you can save a little money, why not? So, all right. So let's talk a little bit about what I look for when I get fish. Now, in the video I'm going to play for you, I'm going to give you some specific points, but there's a couple of them that I missed in the video. And one of them is, of course, when you first get fish, you've got that initial inspection. You have to do that initial inspection. And sometimes the initial inspection will tell you a lot, right? Am I going to have to medicate these fish? Am I going to have to... let's say you're somebody who doesn't always quarantine. So there are people out there who don't do that. There are people out there who don't quarantine. I highly recommend you quarantine for at least 30 days. I've learned that lesson the hard way. But there are folks that don't quarantine. That's your call. You do what you want to do with your tanks, right? But if you don't quarantine and you introduce a fish that in the bag, when you first got him, was looking a little weak, was looking a little bit wrong, you're really asking for trouble. So certainly if you're somebody who can't quarantine, you don't have the space to quarantine or whatever, I get it. There might be circumstances where that's the case. And you go directly to the tank. That might be one of those times where it might not be a bad idea to hit it with a little bit of general cure, maybe a little bit of paracleanse, do a little bit of initial medicating. Normally, 99% of the time, I don't medicate when I quarantine. So the only time I'll do it is if I see something that looks off, that doesn't look right about the fish, and that might take 3 weeks or even up to the fourth week to show up, right? All of a sudden they're clamping fins, they're showing little marks on their body that are not from being pecked or something, just marks on the body. Something's wrong. possible a little bit of maybe a little fuzz on a fin or on the lips. Something doesn't look right. Quarantine and medicate. Now, I know Corey has a very specific trio. I think he actually sells it as a trio at his website. So check that out. There is a medicating trio. Now, by the way, I have an affiliate link. And John, I know that you're real good about sharing links. Don't share my affiliate link anymore. Just use the standard Aquarium Co-op link. Okay, I see that's what you're doing. Okay, good. Because I believe the affiliate program has ended. So it's no longer an affiliate program. So don't bother using that link. Just use aquariumcoop.com. Very good. Lady Diane in the house. Hello, Lady Diane. Saline Aquatics is here. Thank you, my friend. Michael Prince, good to see you. Robert Johnson is in the house. Ruben Rivera. Hello, Ruben Rivera. And did I say Waynard Wolmoran? Did I say hi to you already? Hey, Frank. Buenos días, amigo. Mi amigo Frank in Puerto Rico. Un gusto verte aquí. Wet sleeves. We talked about wet sleeves. All right. Very, very good. Okay. So I have a video for you. This is a video, I guess you'd call it a premiere. Some of you like watching videos this way. I'll inject it in here. It's a short video, and you can comment during the video, and we can talk about it after the video. So let's and Uriel Sanchez from South Jersey. Hello, Uriel Sanchez from South Jersey. Good to see you. All right, let's see here. Let me bring this up for you. It's called The First 24, and I will be releasing it as a standalone video later on today. You get to see it now commercial free. You know, when you buy fish, whether you got them locally from a local fish store or you had them shipped to you, it's really that first 24 hours that can tell you what did you get. Did you get a hearty fish? Did you get a fish that's got a good probability of making it? Or do you have a fish that's a little bit weak and really didn't stand up to or wasn't robust enough to survive the trip from the store to your home to the new water parameters, or being shipped from some faraway location to your house? The first 24, that is very, very crucial. So let's take a look at how the fish are doing that I just acquired, how they did in that first 24-hour period, and in particular, let's look at activity. Let's look at how active they are. Let's look at how interactive they are. Let's look at interacting with you and also with the other fish in the tank. Let's also look at their color, and let's look at how they're eating. And those are all very, very vital indicators of how your fish is doing and is probably going to be doing in the tank after adding them from being shipped or from being brought from a local fish store. Let's take a look at my recent acquisitions. So here are the African cichlids that I picked up from Josh at Cunningham Tropicals, and you can see the colors on these fish are just amazing. Buccochromis notatania, one of my favorite African cichlids. They get up over 10 inches. We've got a fire hap back there. A very nice size eye biter. Beautiful blue color, great dorsal. Look at see the fins, the way they're spreading out. That's a very, very good sign that they don't have clamped fins. And here's what is commonly called, I believe, a red empress. Protomellus. There's 2 protomellus in here, and a couple of what you would normally refer to as haps or predator cichlids. Let's drop a little bit of food in and see how they react to that. They are guardedly eating. The fire hap seems to have the most appetite. When you buy fish, it's a good idea to find out what they were eating before. In other words, what was the breeder feeding them? Was he feeding them flakes or pellets? There we go, the red empress is eating. So on color and activity, I'd give them a 9 out of 10. On eating, I'd give them maybe an 8. An 8 or maybe even a 9 out of 10. And that might be a function of perhaps being unfamiliar, perhaps getting cichlid flakes as opposed to pellets. I'll try some flakes tomorrow morning and see how they react to those. Red Empress doesn't seem to be having a problem with it. Well, yeah. Eating like crazy. Let's see how the fish in the 29 gallon, the smaller fish, let's see how they do. Here's some of the smaller fish that I received from Josh. Some little rummy nose. Some of my favorite of the smaller fish. And some Harlequin rasboras. They're all active. They're starting to color up. Let's drop a little food in, see how they do. Okay, there's definitely some interest in the food. Little amber tetras and neons were picked up locally. Those were not from Josh. But yeah, got some good activity, good color, and lots of interest in food. Those are all great signs. If you recall, it was Josh Cunningham Tropicals that sent me these Congo tetras that you see in here. Beautiful fish. And some of them, when they arrived, were straight up and down, in some cases almost upside down. And after being acclimated and in the tank for a few hours, they all straightened up and started acting normal again. So I have a lot of faith in whoever is providing the fish to Josh, that those fish are going to be hardy and robust and are going to have a very good chance of surviving the trip and thriving in the aquarium. So there's your report on the first 24 hours of the recent shipment. And certainly always look for color, activity. Are the fins being spread out, or are they clamped? Are they hanging out in a corner, or are they active, interacting with each other and with you? And how are they reacting to food? Those are all very key, very, very key. If those are not present, you might want to consider medicating during quarantine. Normally, I don't medicate during quarantine if the fish are looking good and they have, they're scoring high in each of those characteristics. I won't necessarily medicate them during quarantine. But if you do see something that is off, not a bad idea. Hit them with a little bit of general cure, maybe some parasite medication like a Paracleanse or some type of an ick medication, something like that, just to make sure that they don't have something that they brought with them that is now going to be taking hold or manifesting because of the stress involved in travel. Fish sometimes can carry disease, but keep it in check because they're strong, but under stress, their immune systems, just like human immune systems, under stress, the disease can take hold. So just something to keep in mind, something to watch for, and I hope that helped. So thank you so much for watching, and if you like the video, you like the content, you like the channel, be sure to give the video a thumbs up. And if you'd like more tips on taking care of fish, there you go. You don't need the finish asking you to come over to the live stream on Saturdays because you're already here. So that will be released as a standalone video later on today, and with a different thumbnail. I think I got a question from ex-colleague Kev. Have I considered having an arowana? I did have an arowana many years ago, and it actually jumped, and I lost him. But they are beautiful. I do agree. They are majestic. Some of the ones they have in China, Taiwan and China, are crazy looking. Your red and gold arowanas. But at any rate, yeah, I like them. I think they're beautiful fish. So the one thing I didn't mention in that video is also when you're quarantine, when you're putting African cichlids in quarantine, one thing you have to really look for is aggression. Because a quarantine tank tends to be a little bit smaller, so there isn't a lot of real estate for the fish to get away or not get trapped in a corner. And so you've got to watch for that. And like in sitting here looking at the 55-gallon with those fish in it that I just got, I can see that the eye biter is getting very, very aggressive. He's chasing the fish around. And what I'll probably end up doing is I do have a divider from that company called Life with Pets. They make dividers for aquarium tanks. So I think I'll put a divider in there and let the eye biter quarantine solo. That way he's not harassing the other three fish, which are noticeably smaller and traditionally of a better temperament than an eye biter. Eye biters tend to be on the aggressive side. Now, we'll see how that eye biter does when I put him in here with fish that are as big or bigger. We'll see how he does. And that'll be an interesting thing to watch. So it's coming in waves. I'm watching it as we speak. He'll go after him, and then he kind of loses interest, and he goes after him and loses interest. But that nonstop harassment is not good for any fish. And I'm not seeing a lot of markings on their bodies or fin damage, but it's that kind of stress is just never good and will actually predispose the fish to illness. And the funny thing is the Buko Nona, who seems to be the one the eye biter is chasing the most, will then swim right next to the eye biter again. So I don't know if he's like playing a game with him, or I don't know what the deal is. The eye biter was also doing that little shimmy, like a breeding shimmy. So he's fired up about something. So I'll keep a close eye on him. And again, one of the things that you have to consider when you are keeping and quarantining, putting more than one African cichlid in quarantine, there could be a conflict inside the tank. So keep an eye on that. All right, what do you say we give away some food, and you choose what you want. The winner can choose whatever they want. I have earthworm pellets from Cunningham Tropicals. High intensity color pellet. And premium fry starter. It says fry starter meal. So you pick which one you want. Also, let me know what kind of fish you have if you're the winner. And maybe I'll throw an extra bag in of something specific to your fish. But here's the trivia question. And moderators, please let me know who's the first one to answer. So the movie trivia question for today is a quote. You tell me the name of the movie. The quote is, "I'll have what she's having." I'll have what she's having. What movie is that from? I'm waiting for an answer. I'm looking at the chat. Flamingo Hurricane, When Harry Met Sally. Great scene. Great scene. And you are right. Oh, Kent came in a close second. So, Flamingo Hurricane, send me your full name and mailing address to ben.o.cichlid, ben.o.cichlid at gmail.com. Ex-colleague Kev, Sleepless in Seattle is a good guess, but it is When Harry Met Sally. All right. Very cool. Very cool movie. Billy Crystal, one of my favorites. Do you remember him in The Princess Bride? Classic, classic, classic. Okay, so let's take up some of your questions. Do you have any questions for me that you're dying to ask? But I'll tell you what, before we get into questions, let's look at the aquariums in real time. Right now, live, raw, no editing, no punches pulled. Let's just take a look. All right, so bear with me, and let me go ahead and turn the camera. Let's see how this works. Well, naturally, we'll start with the 300-gallon African cichlid tank. It's a custom tank from Glass Cages, and it is 7 feet across. And as you can see, it is lightly stocked by African cichlid standards, so the fish that you saw in that video are going to be going into this tank. And that's assuming that the eye biter doesn't kill his tank mates. But I'm going to go ahead and put a divider in there, so I'm not that worried about that. But the fish in this tank are doing well. The only fish I have any concern about is the gar, who is looking a little old, a little older. Lost a little bit of color. He kind of peaked about 6-7 months ago. He kind of peaked and was just completely stunning. And then he just sort of started a little bit of a decline. And again, when you buy cichlids that are already colored up adults, very often they're already a couple years, 2 or 3 years into their lifespan, and these fish they don't have a super long. They're not like a frontosa that goes 30 years, right? Let's go over to the 210. Let me see if I can work this out with the microphone. So here's the 210-gallon. You can see everybody in there is doing great. I posted a picture to Instagram last night of the electric blue Ochart, who just has an incredible color on his body right now. Absolutely beautiful. Let's give him a little food. That'll usually pull them out. You can take a look at all of them. That Severum is doing beautiful. Is just looking beautiful, doing really well. There's the Salvini. You can get a good shot of the Salvini. That Vieja is just spectacular. Now there's the chocolates. You can see the electric blue Ochart up there in the upper left, kind of being shy, but he does get a good amount of food. The Geos seem to be doing well. Really enjoy this tank. And of course, as you know, relatively speaking, I'm kind of new to South Americans. Let's take a look at the newer fish, the fish that just arrived, the African cichlids. There they are. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. So you can see they're doing okay. They're colored up very nicely. They probably need a little food too. I feed them my own blend of food. It's got everything in there. It's got a little bit of Cunningham tropical. It's got a little bit of Sarah, some Northfin. It's got extreme. It's got a little bit of everything in there. They seem to like it. But as you can see, they're looking great. This is day 2 after having received them. But color, eating, activity, all the factors mentioned in that video are all very, very, very strong. Let's take a look at the planted tank. Planted tank is doing very, very well. I'll give them a little bit of some extreme community pellets. I'll put some on the surface, and also I'll actually knock some down into the water column. That way the neons and the rummy noses who like to eat further down can get a little bit of the food. The little blue neon rainbows like to eat around the mid-range. I'll drop algae pellets in there, algae wafers as well. I have them from both Sarah. Well, I have them from Northfin, Sarah, and from Josh. So algae, some of those spirulina and algae wafers for the cats and the plecos that are in there. Let's move over to the 90-gallon. Ninety gallon is going great. See those little Acara, those little albino Acaras are beautiful. There's an electric blue Acara in there too. Gold Severum. You got those Congo Tetras. You got some of those Buenos Aires Tetras, which I'm probably going to be pulling out actually. And I feed this tank through a funnel. There's a little hole drilled into the lid, and then I just feed them through a funnel. Not uncommon for the red-spotted gold severum to knock the funnel out and out of the hole and have it go flying on the floor. That's how hard he hits it. The big AC Heckelei also will hit that funnel pretty hard. They've never injured themselves. Now I'm going to go all the way back around. We'll feed the 300 as well. I open up all three openings on the top of the aquarium and feed through all three openings. That way every fish has a shot at it. So there you go, a live time lap of the fish room. The smaller tanks, like where I have those baby plecos, and where I have the smaller fish that I got from Josh, are a little bit too far away in the corner. So I'm not going to be showing you those, but I assure you everybody there is doing phenomenally well. All right, so any questions, ideas, tips, suggestions? I'm all ears. I've had successful eye biters. Someone's mentioning Cichlid King's eye biter. I have had successful eye biters several times over the last many years. The So I do think they are, if they're not at the top of the food chain, if they're not the tank boss, if they're kept in check by another fish, which I think will be the case with this eye biter, I think we'll be okay. If an eye biter gets into the dominant top dog position, they can be hard on other fish and corral other fish into the corner of the tank. These fish that I just got, they look a little big, don't they? When I put them in this tank, you're going to be shocked because they're going to look small. These fish are deceptively large. So you'll see when I move those fish to this tank how teeny they look, and you'll be shocked because they look pretty big now in that 55-gallon. Even that eye biter is going to be, I mean, the Coingi in here is probably an inch, 2 inches longer and much thicker than that eye biter. The trout is much longer. The Fusco is much thicker and just as long or longer than that eye biter. So I suspect when he goes in here, he's going to get what I refer to as the traditional cichlid greeting. You know, the hello that they get, which is usually not too pleasant. And then it dies down. You got to watch it closely, because if some fish is losing their mind, you got to correct the situation. But at any rate, all right. Any questions, thoughts, ideas? And don't forget to send me Flamingo Hurricane. Be sure to send me your complete name and mailing address. And let me know which one of those foods you would like. Let me know what kind of fish you have. I might throw a little bonus packet in there. I also have some bonus packets from Northfin and from Sarah. All quality food. So let me know what you got. Lady Diane, I have never had a problem with fish losing their eyes because there's an eye biter. I don't know why they got that name. They do hunt from above and attack downward, a lot like a Malawi hawk. I don't know. I'm not sure why they got that name. It's definitely a scary name. That's probably responsible for more people not owning that fish. The Strigatus back here, the very back center. Come on, come up to the front. Anyway, the Strigatus is a first cousin of the eye biter, also a Demidiochromis fish of that same family, and but doesn't have the compressor doesn't have that long jaw, that super elongated forehead, and also tends to be a lot more mellow. So we'll see how those two get along, because they're similar in appearance, even though I believe the Strigatus here might be slightly bigger. But he's continuing to chase, so as soon as this live stream is over, I'm going to get that divider. I'll show it to you. This is the divider for a 29-gallon. It's got holes in it, so you get good circulation, oxygen, water movement. And this is the one, it's thinner, but it's taller for a 55-gallon. They have it in a solid. You can get it in solid or with holes. And these outside sections can be pulled out to really make it nice and snug. Usually what you do is you push it into the substrate, and that helps to support it. And then these outside rubber bumpers, you can adjust them to create a little bit of pressure on the outside. So this is the divider that'll go in there, and so it'll keep the eye biter in a separate section of the aquarium. And then we'll pull him out and see how, if he plays nice in the 300. Of course, the 300 has a lot more, a lot more swim space. So there's a much greater chance that, he might just become exhausted trying to chase, or there's more places to hide. The plants are providing a break in the line of sight, so that's good. That artificial plant I have in there, but they're not doing anything with the caves. The only one that's doing anything with the cave is the little pleco I have in there with the new cichlids. So I'll probably pull some of those caves out just to create more swim space, especially after I put the divider in, because that's going to limit the amount of space all the fish have. So hopefully after I take that eye biter and separate him, hopefully the other 3 fish with that threat removed will not get into a hierarchy battle, because that's something that happens sometimes. You remove one tank boss and all of a sudden there's a scramble, and like you see with humans sometimes, right? A certain country withdraws from oppressing an area, they withdraw, and then all the small factions within the country that were unified fighting the oppressor start fighting each other. Insane, absolutely insane. But we see that in nature as well. So let's see here. Peas and Haps Forever is saying, I am thinking of picking up a Paratilapia Polini Starry Night. Do you think I could put him in with big African cichlids? Jerry, who is probably on a cruise ship right now. Jerry Martin was at the Boston Brewers game last night. He was sending me pictures and making me jealous. But I think he has a Polini living with his big African cichlids, and it does fine. Polinis can hold their own. They're big, they're thick, they're aggressive, semi-aggressive. They can hold their own, and they'll do okay in African cichlid water parameters. So the answer is yes. And I've also seen them with South Americans. So they seem to be a pretty flexible fish. Thank you, Flamingo. I'll look for your email after the live stream, and I'll probably get to the post office beginning to mid of next week. So look for your food packet. I am looking at your questions. Yeah, Lady Diane, it looks like the co-op is now closer to me. They're over here on the East Coast. I was thinking about a road trip. And again, I got to thank my Patreons and my viewers and subscribers, because that helps as well, to finance things like that. But I was thinking about a road trip where I would go visit John and Lisa and then swing by Corey's warehouse. I'd have to time it, because I would love for Corey to be there, and of course John and Lisa at their place. But I just think that would be a great road trip. It would give me some great video content, doing walkthroughs of those places. So just something I'm kind of tossing around in my head. Waynard, you have a great weekend, my friend. Hope you have some good weather. We've had a lot of rain here, but tomorrow should be nice. I should be able to get back on my bicycle tomorrow. We should have some nice weather and a break in the rain. I love the rain. It's keeping everything green, but enough is enough. I think Flip Aquatics, Peas and Haps Forever. I think Flip Aquatics was posting some stuff regarding the Aquashella Dallas. I think he's there. I think also Jason I think he rode his motorcycle down to Dallas, and I think along with his wife, along with Joanna. So that was very impressive. They became part of the Iron Butt Club by riding their motorcycle over 500 or 1,000 miles. So I think they rode their bikes down there, and they probably have some video of Aquashella Dallas. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's live stream. And for those of you who are not subscribed, be sure to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. It helps a lot. If you're not a Patreon supporter, consider becoming one. It helps the channel out quite a bit. And with that being said, I've got some work to do in here. I've got to get that crazy eye biter separated and maybe do a little maintenance on some of these tanks. But all of you have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next Saturday. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. That's right. A lot of you here in the United States have Monday off. A great weekend that honors those that we lost in the military, and Memorial Weekend. And for those of you who served or have had relatives who served and have passed away, my hat is off to you. And there you go, my friends. You are the best. I appreciate you stopping by, and I will see you this coming week, this coming Saturday. Goodbye, everybody. We'll go ahead and end off on that note.